and immunities. But as I said, those are not absolute. Honorable members, they are being investigated. They've not been convicted. And so we just want to erase the impression or perception that members are always being shielded from the due process of the law. You all know that we've never done that. It's just that because you hold some positions, just like the police, that's why I refer to the police too. That's why you refer to even the judiciary. They all enjoy some of these protections by the law. So the fact that you enjoy a protection doesn't mean you are above the law. That's just what I want to expatiate on and clarify, so that we don't all go under that cloud that the Speaker is always protecting members of Parliament from the due process of the law. I want to thank leaders for their comments, and then we proceed on to item 6. But before we do that, let me acknowledge the presence of our visitors. We have visitors from 3 institutions. The first is from Abra Asebu Kwamankese. There are 60 in number, and they come from the Abakrempa Senior High Technical School. They are led by the Assistant Head of Academics, Mr. Michael Kwajo Edua. Please, honorable members, you can see them at the public gallery on the left side of the Speaker. And on your behalf, I want to warmly welcome them to the House and to thank them for taking their time to come and see what we do here. And I believe they will also learn a bit from the visit, in spite of their very tender ages. This is one of the processes we set in place. It's in motion to capture them young, so that in future, as I keep on saying, they will perform better than us. So you are most welcome. You may now resume your seats. The second group is from the Heritage Christian University, and they are coming from Amasaman, 13 in number. They are led by the Speaker of the SRC group. I told you people I have colleagues all over the country. So today one is here. He's the Speaker of the SRC group. And so you see the fire is catching on. So many areas are forming parliaments and having speakers. And it's something that you should all encourage and support. The leader is Mr. Hope Huze. And they are also at the left side of the Speaker. You are most welcome, and this is your house. Anytime you get the opportunity, you can even come as an individual, not as a group, so that together we share the commitment to make sure that democracy is entrenched in our system of governance. You are most welcome. You may resume your seat. The third group is from the Ghana National Association of Teachers. Those who made it possible for us to be here, the teachers. That is the father of all professions. And I know you treasure them very much. There are 47 in number, and they are from the Kwabre East constituency. The leader of the group, Mr. Richard Ampedu. is the one who has led them here. Sir and Madam, you are warmly welcome. I treasure my teachers very well because they made it possible for me to be here and to be a speaker. So we are extremely grateful to what you are doing, in spite of our failure to be able to remunerate you well. Don't worry, it's not the heaven that you get your reward. You get it here. You get it here. If democracy works well, you get your reward here. So we are happy you are here to learn, to assist us, to make sure that democracy actually works and produces the dividends that can be equitably shared to all. So you are welcome, and please resume your seat and see what is going to happen next. Honorable members, votes and proceedings. We start with the correction of the votes and proceedings of Friday, 31st October 2025. Page 1. Page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7. Sorry, is it page 6? Page 7, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name has been captured on item 70. As absent, but I submitted a leave of absence request. So it should be captured under absent with permission.
Honorable member, it doesn't necessarily mean that when you submit your leave of absence, you've been granted permission. It doesn't mean that at all. Kindly follow up to see whether permission has been granted. When it is granted, draw the attention of the table office so that they can correct this. If it is not granted, it means you are absent. So members, don't just file your leave of absence and take it for granted that the permission has been granted by the Speaker. Please. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, on the same page, I've been captured as absence without permission, but I was absent on a committee assignment.
The same page you are talking about, it talks about people absent. They didn't add without permission. And so you have to follow the same procedure. Cross-check to see whether you were granted permission. If not, then it's correct. If you were granted permission, then draw the attention of the table office to the error. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, if I may seek further guide from what you have said. Speaker, the procedure now is that, at least that what we have inherited, is that the members will file the leave of absence form with the whips. and then when we endorse it, we ferry it to the office of the clerk. In fact, now the arrangement is that we do so electronically, and it is then transmitted to your office for your action. So is the delay in, because sometimes the request comes in respect of a trip that lasts for, say, 2 days. So I have all the evidence of my electronic transmitter to the office of the clerk, and then it is further ferried to your office for action. So, but what we are doing, we are correcting the votes, and once we correct it and adopt it, then it is gone. So members have come to see me regarding this matter just today. So my intention was to engage the clerk after today's procedure and see how we can streamline things. If the procedure can be shortened, then we can ferry directly to your office for action, or if somebody can be designated. Yes. No, that's what I do.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know if that is the new procedure, because if you pick up the form, it's for the caucus leadership to recommend, and then the next portion is the speaker. There's no column for the clerk. Maybe if we get further clarification from it, because my understanding and the practice have always been the case that if leaders endorse, it goes to the speaker. The speaker elects based on communication to us, other of the deputy speakers working on it. So I don't know, Majority Chief Whip, if maybe our info, because when we endorse, we know it goes to either of the speakers. But in the form, it says the speaker, and then it goes there. I don't think the clerk have a role to play on it based on what has been provided on the form.
Mr. Speaker, I was very clear in what I said. It's about procedure of submission to Speaker's office. I'm saying the procedure I inherited, and what I agreed with clerk was that when we endorse the forms and you stamp it, it is ferried. Yes, you recommend, actually. When you recommend for approval, it is ferried to the clerk's office for onward transmission for Speaker's approval or otherwise. We don't send it directly to Speaker's office. So this can be streamlined. I don't think we can litigate this matter. I didn't indicate that the clerk has a role to play by signing a portion, or there's a portion indicated for his signature or otherwise. I'm only talking about
Honorable members, you don't need to split hairs over this. How many of you seated here have your copies of the standing orders? Yes. Yes, I can see. Yes. Please, standing orders, it could be on your phone or whatever. Can you all read Order 15? Order 15. Then you judge for yourselves which of your leaders is right. I think on a daily basis, I have to be conducting an exam on these standing orders. For the sake of the public, I'm going to read it because it's a thorny issue here. Leave of absence, Order 15, Rule 1. A member shall attend sittings of the House unless the Speaker grants leave of absence to the member in writing. Are we clear? You grant the permission in writing. Rule 2, a member seeking to be absent shall complete a leave of absence form as specified in the second schedule. Rule 3, the leave of absence form may be obtained from the office of the clerk, the table office, or the office of the chief whip of the caucus of the member. Rule 4, a member shall submit the completed leave of absence form to the chief whip of the caucus of the member not later than 72 hours prior to the intended date of absence. 72 hours is how many days? Is how many days? 3 days. The chief whip of the caucus of that member shall, not later than 24 hours after receipt, transmit the completed leave of absence form with recommendation to the Speaker for consideration, not to any clerk, to the Speaker for consideration. The Speaker may, within 24 hours of receipt, grant the leave of absence to a member who shows sufficient cause. It's not automatic. So if you submit a leave of absence form to me and state that you are visiting your girlfriend, I should grant you leave of absence. Your girlfriend is sick. So please, Rule 7 says, Rule 7, the office of the Speaker shall, within 24 hours after the decision of the Speaker, transmit the decision to the member through the office of the clerk. The decision of the Speaker shall be recorded in the votes and proceedings. This is the procedure. So if the clerk's office don't receive a written permission from the Speaker, they cannot submit it to the table office for it to be captured. And we've given timelines for all this to be done. In fact, I'm surprised with this mention of the electronic copies that are transmitted to the clerk, and the clerk is to forward them to the Speaker. I'm surprised.
Speaker?
Yes.
That is the procedure.
Which rule says so? You are a lawyer.
Speaker, yes, Speaker. Order 15, Rule 1 up to 8 that you just read.
Yes.
Now, the issue is with when we are done as whips. When we are done as whips. Because practically, it's not every time that, Speaker, you are in situ. And yet the approval must come. So I recall vividly my discussion with clerk. So we transmit. Once the approval comes, we transmit. He made the point that he's able to communicate with you electronically sometimes. So even though you are not here, it can be done. Approval can be given. And it's more expeditious than me carrying a file of, let's say, 15 leave of absence recommended forms, coming to your secretariat. You are not available, you are unavoidably not around, and we leave it. Meanwhile, the 72 hours is ticking. So these are administratively enhanced means of getting the approvals readily done. Speaker, I don't think that it varies or it departs from what the procedure provides at all. It's about the means of ferrying the recommended leave of absence applications to you expressly.
Your focus is on the electronic, the mood, but I'm talking about the person. Well, your earlier submission was that you forwarded to the clerk, who then sends it to the speaker. And I'm saying it's not so by the rules. In fact, that was what Honorable Habib also stated, that it is direct from you, the Chief Whip, to the speaker, not to clerk. It's when the speaker grants the permission that the speaker then sends it to the clerk, because the table office is under the clerk. That's part of the office of the clerk. And that is after the speaker has agreed with you that you've shown sufficient cause to be granted the permission. And that's why I cited that if you write to tell me that you are going to visit your girlfriend, I should give you permission. You think I should give you? Even if she is sick, you cannot. I won't grant you that permission. Please, just follow the procedure. And if you see that, because we put structures in place, I don't need to be present. And I've communicated to you, leaders, as to who I have put in charge of that process. May we move on now? Page 8. Yes.
Mr. Can I take you back to page 7? Page 7, item 50. I was marked absent, but I was on the committee work outside the office.
So follow the same guidance I gave to the earlier ones. Follow up and see whether you were granted permission to absent yourself.
Thank you, Mr.
If you were granted, then you draw the attention of the table office to rectify the error. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Honorable members, in the absence of any further corrections, the rules and proceedings of the 6th sitting dated Friday, 31st October 2025, as corrected, are adopted as a true record of proceedings. Honorable members, it's not the 6th sitting, it's the 8th. The 8th sitting, not the 6th. I don't have any copy of the official report. And so we proceed to the next item on the order paper. That is item 7. Questions? Yes, Minority Leader.
Speaker, with respect, I would want to bring an important matter to your attention and to that of Leader of Government Business. Mr. Speaker, we have a piled up of questions, and unfortunately for us, we are getting a lot of letters from ministers. I'm not available, I'm not available, I'm not available. Mr. Speaker, I would want to use the opportunity to plead with Leader of Government Business to see to this matter. Because, Mr. Speaker, if members have their questions some time bound and ministers are not available and it's all about I'm not available, and some of these letters come the last minute and it get communicated to leadership, it makes life quite difficult. Mr. Speaker, the ministers owe a responsibility to this House. Mr. Speaker, I will not belabor.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we discussed the issue of scheduling ministers at Business Committee on Thursday, and we agreed that we should always try to ensure ministers are aware before we schedule them. And if they are not available, they can indicate a convenient date. And so I have not received letters. In fact, I've just received communication from the Minister for Roads, who we all know is very punctual and comes to answer all questions, that, for instance, tomorrow he has some questions, but he has to be in Solar Tuna Kalba area for sword cutting, so he will not be able to make it. He wants his questions rescheduled to Thursday. So those type of indications come. The minister who is scheduled to answer questions today was supposed to come last week, but then she requested that we schedule her today, and today she is here to answer all the questions. Mr. Speaker, I think that we have been doing well with scheduling questions. All questions are being asked. Indeed, last week, there was even a question asking the minister how many shrines we have in Ghana. You know, and there was a question about the number of shrines we have in Ghana. You were not there. Your side had opportunity to ask all sorts of questions, including how many shrines are in Ghana. And the minister was here to answer to the question of how many shrines are in Ghana. So I can assure you that the ministers are always available to answer questions. If they cannot make it for some reason, they have to write. And when they notify us, we reschedule them. So I don't think there's a problem with ministers, showing up to answer questions. It's normal business. If you are not available, you write, and they write.
Yes.
Speaker, ordinarily I wouldn't have come in because the two leaders have related to the subject matter. Just to put a bit of, for want of a better expression, a twist on it, because I've sat in the business committee and this matter has come back and forth. And the majority leader will concede that the trust of the minority leaders concern is a trend that is increasingly emerging. This House has the powers to determine when ministers should be in this House to respond to questions, not the reverse. As we got the trend emerging is that the questions go through the process, and I must commend the table office, doing a wonderful job. And all we hear is that I'm not available, I'm not available. Fine. You can write to communicate to this House that you are not available. But it will take this House to tell you whether your reasoning will be acceptable to this House or not. What is happening? Now, and he mentioned the the road minister, in fact, as for the road minister, in fact, if there is any minister who is always in the chamber, with the greatest respect to my colleagues who are ministers, the road minister is always here. We are not overly simplifying this matter and revolving it around the road minister. And majority leader, look into my eyes and listen. Listen to me. Majority leader, listen to me today. When the majority leader talks about a member asking questions about a number of shrines, do you know what we are seeking to do? And that's very typical of him. He will try to trivialize the matter and then off we go. No. Because the time for the ministers to respond to questions has to be determined by this house. Why? You want to take over our oversight powers? You want to take it?
Second duty speaker to take the chair.
So this matter, we will have to exhaust it. We'll have to exhaust it. So I'm simply saying that we must set the date, and that has been the practice of this house. And where the ministers cannot attend upon the house, they must write. That is the basic process and practice. The ministers might write to us, and the house will determine whether to accept or not. Where the minister cannot come, his or her deputy should be able to come to this house. So we have questions piling up, a number of questions that are piling up, and we are not getting answers. It's worrying. Majority leader, maybe we may have to reflect on this matter more at the business committee and develop a way out. We cannot leave these questions hanging. No, it cannot be. And not, no, I'm not, yes, no, we will allow, it's a matter we have to talk about. We will allow our colleague, our respected minister, we will allow her. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm inviting you to direct, and the powers of the business committee are defined. The business committee cannot take a decision for plenary. No, we cannot. You can only come with a proposed program subject to an endorsement by plenary. So, majority leader, with respect to you, when you say that the business committee, you know, you are a respected lawyer, we respect you. You are going beyond your powers. So, the business committee will have to look at this matter again. And we insist, we on this side of the house insist. Not too long ago, you were here. You were asking all the questions. Why are you shielding the ministers? I want to look into the eyes of the majority leader, Mr. Majority Leader. Why are you shielding your ministers? You said you have achieved so much within 1 year. Come and answer questions. You are writing all manner of excuses. Within a week, we have received so much of excuses. Why? Maybe the Mr. President should be looking at the first reshuffle.
So far, so many.
The ministers must come and attend upon this house and respond to questions coming from the people's representatives. We on this house cannot take it lightly. So, majority leader, now you are looking into my eyes. We will be expecting the ministers to respond, and they must respond.
Leader, I think the minister is here.
The minister is here, yes, but the majority leader must tell us something.
You should know your friend Kwame Buja is also sitting here.
No, Mr. Speaker, I'm not talking about the road minister. The road minister is an exception. He knows. In terms of his presence in this house and delivery. The road minister, even though my road is not done, that's fine. But he's always here. The road minister is always here. So, majority leader, I beg you. We may have to look at this matter again at the business committee and maybe structure a roadmap.
Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, in all this, he hasn't displayed to this house one single letter asking for extension of time by any minister. Not one single letter. He has not shown one single letter. And yet he has said more than 100 times since he was on his feet that ministers write letters asking for postponement. He hasn't shown one single letter from a minister asking for postponement. Evidence. You see, the reputation of a whole group is at stake here. That is the ministers. Some of the highest placed appointments in the country. And when you stand here and say that when they are asked questions, they write letters seeking postponement and etc., stating that they are unavailable, and you don't display one single letter, it's not good. It's not fair to them. So please, show me the letters. No letters. And I'm not saying that you ask trivial questions. No. I didn't say that. No. I'm saying that you are free to ask all sorts of questions. And then you even asked a question about the number of shrines in Ghana. I said last week, you wanted the Minister for Local Government to tell us how many shrines we have in Ghana. And the minister came here and gave an indication that he didn't know the number of shrines we have in Ghana. I'm giving an indication of the type of questions you ask and how those questions are transmitted to the ministers, and the ministers come and answer those questions. I'm not trivializing your questions. You ask a question about how many shrines we have in Ghana. And the Minister for Local Government, Rural Development and Religious Affairs left his office, came here and answered the question. So please, ministers do show up and answer questions. Where they are unavailable, they indicate that because they also have responsibilities. And I just gave you an example. The Minister for Roads and Highways is sitting here. He is scheduled to answer questions tomorrow. Then he has to go and do sword cutting in the Savannah region. And so he's just asking me if I can reschedule his questions to Thursday. And I just agreed with him. He says, I said he should write. And he's written. But when there's good cause, the rules are clear. Let me just read the rules again. Rule 77. 1, 2, 3. A minister, a member, or the head of an independent constitutional body shall by order of the House, attend a sitting of the House to answer a question. Question time shall ordinarily not exceed 1 hour, except that the Speaker may permit a question after the expiration of the time stated. Rule 3 is, sub-rule 3 is where I really want to focus on. A minister, a member, or the head of an independent constitutional body shall not take more than 3 weeks, upon receipt of a question from the House to respond to the question. So ministers have 3 weeks upon receipt of the question. And if you recall, at the last business committee meeting, you were not there. By the last business committee meeting, I raised the issue of whether or not the table office deal directly with the ministers or with their staff. I raised that issue at the meeting. You recall? And they confirmed that they have a scheduled officer at the ministry that they deal with. And I said, how sure are you that when you deal with the scheduled officer, the minister has actual notice of the question and the time scheduled for the minister to come and answer the question? And they admitted that there was no guarantee that when you deal with the scheduled officer, the minister does have notice. At that meeting, I said, let us make it a practice as a committee, business committee, that we will always call the ministers and let them know that we have scheduled them on certain days so that they are aware. And there and then, we started calling the ministers. And the ministers did confirm that they didn't know about the pendency of those questions or the schedule of those questions. And for some of them, the dates that we scheduled were not convenient. So we directly engaged them and rescheduled it to dates that was convenient, including the minister who is here today. Axel, she's here. We called her. And she said she wasn't available the date that we scheduled her. We asked when she'll be available. She gave today. That's how come all her questions have been scheduled and she is here. So the issue has always been the way that we do business. Because the rule says the minister should be the one that should have notice of the question and he's the one that must come, and he has 3 weeks to come. But when we run our practices in a way that the person that should have notice doesn't have notice, you can't blame that person for not coming. That is the issue that the Speaker just addressed, where even leave of absence, the communication does not get to the person who is supposed to grant the leave. So let's also iron out our practices and our procedures so that we can comply strictly with our rules. So we cannot say that the ministers are not coming to answer questions and that they are always, asking for change of dates and etc. Because the rule is that we engage them, we agree with them when they can come, but then they have 3 weeks within which they must come. Those are the issues. Mr. Speaker, the minister is here. I think that the rule is clear. We shouldn't exceed 1 hour of question time, except with your discretion or leave. So let's have the minister answer the questions. These issues, you and I should take them up at business committee meetings and resolve them. It's the province of business committee.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, not to belabor the point, just to establish one fact, and I see colleagues, my respected Honorable Jinapo wants to speak. You see, the point must be made that we on this side appreciate the fact that we can disagree to agree, and we should get practical. Leader, there are times you engage us and say that, I recall not too long ago, we had to reduce the number of follow-ups as a result of our engagement at the business committee. It was because of the exigencies of the business that we had at that time. Our problem is that it is against our practice for the table office to be told that you must seek the availability of the minister before you schedule the question. That is wrong. Parliament must schedule the question and the ministers must respond. For instance, where the road minister, you were citing an example of the road minister. There are times we even reschedule at conclave without necessarily receiving a formal correspondent from the minister. So, majority leader, get the point that we are with you. We want businesses to be done. We want to get clinical. But Parliament cannot be at the discretion of the executive. No, that cannot be.
It cannot.
No. It cannot be.
It cannot.
We must schedule. And our scheduling is not based on the availability of the minister. Yes. When we schedule and leader, listen to me. When we schedule and the ministers are not available, it's their duty to write to Parliament. Otherwise, our oversight will be undermined. So I'm saying that to say that we should seek the availability of the minister before we schedule, that is wrong and it's against our practice. And the business committee cannot make that determination for plenary. That is where I want to revert the mind of the majority leader so that we can make progress. Where the ministers for the minister is engaged and he cannot come, sometimes they don't even write. They call us the leaders. And we have often acceded to it. So, leader, don't get it wrong. We are not saying that even where the minister cannot come, we are insisting that the minister should be here. No. Where there are genuine reasons, we are reasonable to know that we have to accede to those reasonable grounds being given. But when it becomes like Parliament must call the minister must accede before this scheduling is done, that for me is against the practice. And we'll be undermining our oversight as an arm of government. That's my simple view. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, the point being made is not that the minister should dictate the time. At that business committee meeting, there was a complaint about ministers not showing up to answer questions. That was the complaint. Then I asked, do they even know that they have been scheduled to answer questions? That was the question I asked. And I asked, how do you communicate to the ministers when they have questions to answer? And she then revealed that there's a contact person at the ministry that they deal with. Then I said, are you sure the contact people communicate to the ministers? Because it might just be that the ministers are not even aware. Because sometimes I come here and I'm sitting here, I notice that the minister has questions, he's not aware, I call him, Minister, you have questions to answer. The problem that I face then is that he's not aware of the question, he's actually ready to come, but then he's not prepared to answer the question. He's not prepared, he hasn't been properly briefed. And when ministers come without being properly briefed, it becomes embarrassing for me here when they appear not to be on top of their brief. So I prefer that the ministers are aware, have prepared, are on top of their brief, then they can answer the question competently to the satisfaction of the members. So at that meeting, we then said, oh, is it possible for us as a committee to always call them to be sure that first they are aware, and secondly, to agree with them on their availability. And I'm saying that the rule says that he must show up within 3 weeks upon receipt of the question, within 3 weeks. So it means that he has 3 weeks latitude to negotiate with you. If he receives it today and you call him and say, I've scheduled you tomorrow morning, he can say, no, I'll come in 2 weeks' time. Or even a day before the expiry of the 3 weeks. He has that latitude. So when he gives that indication, he is not saying that the legislature is being subjugated to the whims and caprices of the executive. You gave him 3 weeks. Your rules say 3 weeks. So it gives him, ample room to fix the time when he will come and answer the questions within the 3 weeks. So I don't see where we are sending this. So let me just plead with Mr. Speaker that let's have the minister answer the questions. Because if you also summon ministers to come and answer questions, and they come and they sit there, and then you engage in long, winding arguments and debates about the questions that they are here to answer.
Well. Leader.
It's very important. When he says that ministers come here and we elect to engage in long discussion, that is most unfortunate to come from the majority leader. This is the Parliament of Ghana, and we determine our business. The ministers, we are not part of the executive. This is an arm of government. Now I'm talking to ministers.
Yes,
I'm talking to ministers.
But incidentally, he's also a member of Parliament. So,
Mr. Speaker, that comment is most unfortunate. To say that we engage in long, winding statement. Oh, majority leader, Abba. One, Abba. Oh, you made a fantastic point. That one is unfortunate. Redraw that part. This is Parliament. Everything here we say, we speak to, makes sense. It makes sense. Everything we are saying here is important. Long, winding debate is important.
But
ministers must contain us.
Leader, about 80% of the ministers are already members of Parliament. So once they come here, they come their home to do business. Being a minister is just an additional responsibilities. So just saying they will allow them to sit there, I don't think that was right. Because they've come to their house and they are coming to do business. Irrespective of the fact that they are ministers, they've come as a members of Parliament. So they are not here being wasted time. So on that score, I don't think I'll be with you.
Mr. Speaker, there can be long winding arguments that are very, very intelligent and sensible. Very intelligent, sensible, long winding arguments that educates members of this House, engages us, excites us. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm not even saying that the arguments are not sensible. They are very sensible. Yes, they can be long. It is good. I'm just encouraging us when we summon the ministers, and they come, of course, they are members of Parliament and should ordinarily be here as members of Parliament. But don't forget that our Constitution has partially merged the executive with the legislature. And so we have members of the executive who have executive functions, at the same time have legislative functions. And Mr. Speaker, we know the cost of running government, and we know that it has been very costly. And so when we reduce the size of the number of ministers, we must also accompany that with greater efficiency in the use of ministers' time. That is all that I'm pleading for. That when they come, let's have them answer their questions so that they can get back to work at the ministries.
Okay, Minister, I'll call you, but I think Honorable Jinapor has indicated to speak. So, Honorable, let's be snappy before I get to the Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this very important discussion. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader talked about all sorts of questions, and referred to a question which sought to ask the minister the number of shrines in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, may I refer the House to Order 85-1. Mr. Speaker, I read. Order 85-1 states, the Speaker is responsible for the admissibility of a question. Mr. Speaker, therefore, any question which is scheduled and asked in this House must pass the admissibility test, and is the Speaker who determines which question is admissible or not. And Mr. Speaker, I want to believe that you have a criteria and you have a very high standard in determining whether a question is admissible or not. So, Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect to the majority leader, there cannot be all sorts of questions. Mr. Speaker, the questions that are admitted by Right Honourable Speaker are questions that the Speaker, pursuant to Order 85-1, has determined that are questions which are relevant, are questions which ministers must spend their executive time to answer, and are questions which further the interest of our country. So, Mr. Speaker, I would regret to suggest that a particular question is a sort of question, and that if somebody wanted to know the number of shrines in Ghana, somehow or other, is a sort of question or a trivial question. The Speaker has admitted, finally, Mr. Speaker, finally, when you look at Order 77, Mr. Speaker, Order 77 sets out clearly the procedure to be adhered to for ministers to answer questions. 77-123. It sets out copiously the procedure to be followed. Mr. Speaker, in all humility and modesty, when we were on your right-hand side and we had the privilege to serve in government, Mr. Speaker, I have spent 4 or 5 hours in this House before to answer questions. My brother, Anomabo Asensubuachi, tells me that he's also spent sometimes 6 hours, 7 hours to answer questions. Mr. Speaker, and if we ever by some, Mr. Speaker, you get here, you are scheduled, you get here at 10 o'clock, sometimes 2, 3, 4 o'clock is the time that you are admitted. And you spend 3, 4 hours answering. But what is the point? The fundamental point I seek to make, Mr. Speaker, and when we missed questions, there was a whole brouhaha. The fundamental point is this: answering questions before the House, Mr. Speaker, the principle behind it is accountability. And that is the point the Minority Chief Whip is making. It is the extent to which we take the business of the House serious. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that the majority leader is right.
Thank you.
Is right in saying that we should allow the Minister of Fisheries to answer her questions.
Thank you.
But the fundamental point is that admissibility is by Speaker, and answering questions goes to the root of accountability. And finally, the windy arguments, the majority leader has most of it. He takes a bigger bite of the windy argument. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on a point of elucidation, Order 77-1. I think we have
to... I'll come to you, please.
Yeah, on a point of elucidation, Order 77-1. And I think we need to pay attention to the language. If
the office can, increase the volume of the microphones. It's a bit low. Mr. Speaker, Order 77.1. I think we need to pay attention to the language that the standing order uses. A minister, a member or the head of an independent constitutional body shall, by order of the House, attend a sitting of the House to answer a question. The spirit of this standing order is not to suggest that it is a negotiation or it is a request or it is a plea or a favor that a minister is doing this House to attend upon it to respond to questions. In fact, properly speaking, it operates as though it is a summons, except that there's a period within which notice is given for the minister to prepare. And so, Mr. Speaker, just to say that we should be careful about this interpretation that suggests as though, we have to negotiate with ministers and as and when they can, they attend upon this House. The proper language is that it's by order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think the majority leader has, I think it's almost the same thing. If you, by order, but if indeed the time the question gets to the minister is not available. So we need to, obviously we need to negotiate it. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think there's any disagreement here. By order of the House, a minister must come here and answer questions. If it's an urgent question, it is treated differently. If it's an oral question, it is treated differently. But the same standing order says that he has 3 weeks. He has 3 weeks upon receipt of the notice. Upon receipt of the notice, he has 3 weeks or she has 3 weeks. So if I, as head of government business, leader of government business, say, let me engage with the minister within that 3 weeks to see when the minister is available to come and answer the questions. Mr. Speaker, once your own rules say the person has 3 weeks, the person has discretion within the 3 weeks. I didn't make the rules. The rules say the person has 3 weeks. It means that if I say come next week, say, no, let me make it the following week. I'll be better prepared because you ask questions about facts. So for instance, if you ask a question such as, how many shrines are there in Ghana? It takes time to count shrines. First you have to identify the shrines.
Thank you, leader.
The location of the shrines.
Leader, thank you so much. So, honorable members, let's turn to item 7 in page 2. And we start the questions with that of Honorable Duke William Allen Kwame Amoako Atta Ufuli Atta. The name again, Duke William Allen Kwame Amoako Atta Ufuli Atta, a member for Fantiakwa South. Yes, honorable member, if you are available, you have the floor now.
Mr. Speaker, I rise on Order 88.3 to seek your permission to grant me the permission to speak, to ask this question on behalf of the honorable member for Fantiakwa South. And I have his authorization to ask his question.
Very well, leave granted, you may go on.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The question from honorable member for Fantiakwa South is to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture the steps being taken to operationalize the one-stop shop aquaculture licensing system in 2025 and how this reform will improve regulatory compliance and investment in the aquaculture industry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Respectfully, Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, the Government of Ghana acknowledges aquaculture's role in food security, employment, and economic growth. The current process for obtaining aquaculture licenses involves various regulatory bodies, each with its own requirements and procedures, creating a fragmented system. This arrangement has resulted in overlapping regulations, manual processing, and delays. Aquaculture operators are required to liaise with multiple agencies, which increases administrative tasks and prolongs the approval process, impacting the sector's efficiency. The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, through the Fisheries Commission, is introducing a one-stop-shop aquaculture licensing system designed to simplify and coordinate the permitting process in Ghana. The goal is to establish a unified digital platform that consolidates approvals from key regulatory agencies, aiming to improve efficiency, transparency, and delivery service within the sector. Preparatory measures undertaken include the development of guidelines for the aquaculture permitting system, providing information on licensing procedures and requirements. Additionally, a draft memorandum of understanding has been prepared involving the Fisheries Commission, Environmental Protection Authority, and the Water Resources Commission to support collaboration in developing...
Minister, hold on. Honourable members, there are too much discussions going on. Please, we have brought the minister here. Let's listen to her. The discussions in the chamber is too much. Yes, Minister.
Additionally, a memorandum of understanding has been prepared involving the Fisheries Commission, Environmental Protection Authority, and the Water Resources Commission to support collaboration in developing and implementing the system. Software development for the one-stop-shop platform is complete and being tested currently for full rollout planned for 2026. The fishery staff are being trained on the software management and the whole process for complete takeover and implementation in the coming year. This reform, Mr. Speaker, is intended to enhance regulatory compliance, facilitate investment in the aquaculture industry, and reduce in-person interactions by introducing a more transparent and trackable approval process. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honourable member, any further questions? Yes, honourable member for Bosome Frehon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I first and foremost want to commend the government and the Minister for Fisheries for continuing a process that has been in the system since 2022. Mr. Speaker, I only want to ask that the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Policy that was enacted in 2020, again, the Ghana National Aquaculture Development Plan between 2024 and 2028, was working on this one-stop shop licensing. I want to ask that the new plan or development that they are doing, has it abandoned all these provisions and regulations or things that were being done by the 2022 policy or the plan for 2024-2028 entirely, or some of those plans have been inculcated into the new one that has been completed? Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much. Those plans were reviewed. The process that we inherited were reviewed and improved, and that is what we are rolling out now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, no, I wouldn't give him two opportunities. Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister tells us that this one-stop shop aquaculture licensing system in 2025 has seen some ministerial intervention. may I know from her what exactly she means by one-stop shop aquaculture licensing system?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. By statute, it's the Fisheries Commission, the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, that supervises aquaculture. However, to get a license, there are a number of different entities in Ghana that have to do their part. So you have to get some license from EPA, you have to have Fisheries Commission itself license you, and you have to have the Water Resources Commission also do their bit. What is happening is that increasingly, people who are interested in investing in aquaculture have to go between and among all these agencies running around. In fact, one of the farmers said to us that the Fisheries Commission that provides more help to his enterprise, he pays less to Fisheries Commission than to EPA and to Water Resources Commission. So the one-stop shop licensing regime is developing a platform that brings all these licensing processes at a place, at one place. So you can even sit in your bedroom and put in your requirements as each entity requests of you, and the process is done and you get your license. We are doing this together. So EPA, Water Resources Commission and Fisheries Commission have been working closely together in developing the one-stop shop licensing permits regime. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Yes, Leader.
Speaker, with respect, the Minister's explanation takes me to the point she herself raised in respect of the platform that is going to be used to achieve this. She tells us that there is a software that has been developed to achieve this. May I know from her the costs involved in this? As you may be well aware, the program started somewhere 2022 and some costing was done. Is she able to tell us whether the previous cost is being maintained or that the ministry has arrived at a new cost for this particular procurement?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Indeed, there was very little progress done from the reference point of 2022. We've had to sort of revamp the whole process. But as I stand here right now, I do not have the actual figures. If Parliament permits, I'll provide it later.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, I think it is only fair to oblige the respected minister to make the costing available at a later date, since she's committed for Hansard. So I would oblige her. But may I know whether it's the procurement of this software went through competitive tendering or it was sole sourcing, and if so, whether PPA was at all involved in the processes that arrived at this decision?
Very well. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much. As my answer stated, this work was done through the Fisheries Commission. I will come back to you with answers to your questions. Thank you.
No, that is in respect of the procurement. Okay, very well.
Yeah, Honorable Minister, Mr. Speaker, question time is not a platform or a time for debate. But you see, when the minister herself gives us information, the presumption is that all the facts are at her disposal. If you come to the House of Parliament to say that you have undertaken a procurement and a software developer has been selected for a particular purpose, a question will necessarily follow. So if you now say that you don't know, it becomes a problem. I want you to provide clarity on this matter. Is it that you would want to come at a later date with the details of the procurement for this House to peruse? Because this is critical with respect.
Leader, I don't think he said he doesn't know.
Mr. Speaker, that's why I'm saying clarity. Mr. Speaker, that's why we are having this engagement. Clarity with respect.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So let me assure you that the proper procurement processes were followed, have been followed throughout since I assumed leadership of this ministry, this sector. Your specific question was what type of procurement approach was used, whether by single, there's nothing like sole source, I'm told, there's single source or whatever, and that is what I'm saying, that I'll provide you the information later, but I want to assure you that the proper procurement processes were followed to procure the software that is being deployed now. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, to bring a closure to this, since we always want to encourage our countrymen and women to be players in the private sector, may I know from the minister, in view of the answer given, whether or not this software which was procured is an entity within our jurisdiction. In other words, simply put, is the software provider a Ghanaian? Because, Mr. Speaker, sometimes we hear that the opportunity, goes out of the country.
Is it a Ghanaian or a Ghanaian company?
A Ghanaian company. Mr. Speaker, I mean, the company persona. So if I say Ghanaian, obviously, but I thank you for the guidance. A Ghanaian company. I just want to know.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, is a Ghanaian entity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we turn to question 347. Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the minister is saying sole source is different from single source, and now it's a Ghanaian entity. Mr. Speaker, we want clarity. Entity in what context? We just want to know. Ghanaian entity, bring clarity. Ordinary language, simple language for clarity. Is it a Ghanaian registered company? Is that what you mean by entity? I want to know.
Yes, Minister. It's a Ghanaian company, that's all.
A Ghanaian entity.
That's what he wants.
A Ghanaian entity is a Ghanaian. A Ghanaian.
Is it a Ghanaian company?
A Ghanaian
registered in.
A Ghanaian entity in Ghana. Thank you.
Very well, thank you. Let's turn to question 347. Question 347. And the question stands in the same honorable member, Honorable Duke William Allen Kwame Amoakwata Oforiata, a member for Fantiakwa South. So, honorable member for Etiwa West, you may ask the question for your colleague.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask a question on behalf of the honorable member for Fantiakwa South, that when the proposed Blue Economy Commission will be established and what legal or institutional framework will guide its operations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, the noise in the chamber is too much. So that's why you didn't hear. You are saying you can't hear her. Yes, Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana's blue economy relies on the interconnectedness of water bodies, oceans and rivers, climate resilience and human well-being, supporting sectors such as fisheries, maritime transport, tourism, oil and gas, renewable energy, as well as marine biotechnology. These sectors are vital for GDP growth, employment, food security and trade. In line with this, Cabinet approved an interministerial technical team supervised by the Senior Presidential Advisor on Governmental Affairs to develop a national blue economy strategy and to recommend the appropriate legal institutional frameworks. The draft strategy and framework have been completed and currently under Cabinet review. The Ministry is also awaiting feedback on a request to African Union Inter-African Bureau for Animal Resources to support the development of the implementation plan for the strategy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Member for Swami, Honorable John Darko.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have taken notice of the question asked and the answer provided by the Honorable Minister. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the question is asking specifically the proposed Blue Economy Commission as to when it will be established. But the answer doesn't address that question at all. The answer is talking about completely different things. Even though I believe that your answer, you can say that you give an answer you want. But, Mr. Minister, I believe that the answer that Madam Minister, the answer that you provide must actually resolve the question at play. The question
Honorable John Darko.
Yes, it's not answered. Madam Minister, you may want to have a look at your answer to the question.
Honorable Member.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
That is your understanding. The Minister has researched and come to the House with the answer. Probably it might not satisfy you, but you can say, right?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker. So the question to Madam Minister: when do you intend to establish the proposed Blue Economy Commission?
Very well. Yes, Minister.
Thank you very much. I apologize for not being so explicit in my response. I thought it was inferred. I said that the National Blue Economy Strategy is before Cabinet now. So when Cabinet goes through the process and gives the approval, that is only when we can establish the commission. Second thing, we don't know as at now whether the appropriate institutional mechanism for implementing the Ghana National Blue Economy Strategy will be the commission. Work has been done, is before Cabinet. Cabinet will study it, we will discuss, and the agreement will come whether we set up a Blue Economy Commission or we set up something else. We do not know yet. As soon as Cabinet gives approval, then we will know the when and the legal and regulatory framework, if necessary, that will accompany the establishment and implementation of the Ghana Blue Economy Strategy. Thank you.
Very well. Yes. Honorable Nkrumah.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Still looking for some clarity. Honorable Minister, by which time does the Ministry expect that these internal consultations will be completed for the strategy document to be approved by Cabinet?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. When we started the process, we reached out to the African Union Inter-African Bureau on Animal Resources, AU-IBAR. AU-IBAR has written to us that they are interested in coming to support the process. AU-IBAR has just said that they would work within this last quarter So what they are going to do is to come to the country, take what we have developed already, sort of add value, and also review, especially for me, the institutional arrangements, and then Cabinet will take the final decision. I am certain that by the first quarter of 2026, we will have a clear pathway. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kojo, I wouldn't give you a second opportunity. So let me go to the Tobri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, my question is, how, in your opinion, do you think the Commission would contribute to the development of your sector, that is the fisheries and aquaculture sector?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Blue economy is, if you like, the new kid of the block. It used to be sustainable development, but it's broader now. So you have different sectors under the blue economy. You have energy, you have transport, you have tourism, you have fisheries, and a couple of others. The important thing about applying or looking at the fisheries resources from a blue economy lens is that it broadens the scope and it makes intercoordination easy. So in the blue economy strategy, we have issues, themes, 6 themes: blue health, blue finance, blue safety and security, and others, especially blue equity. So it expands the scope of how you engage actors in your sector. It also supports fish stocks and resource management. Within the blue economy scope is also the issue of conservation and marine resources management. So there are many different ways through which the blue economy supports Ghana's fisheries, especially working together with the different sectors that all come under the blue economy, so that struggles over who accesses the resources or who has more control over the ocean resources is dealt with at a table, at a go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, let me go to Dr. Kabiru. Honorable members, we are working within time, so yes, Dr. Kabiru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is a very simple question. I want to find out from the minister whether the blue water guards form part of this whole blue economy as explained by the minister. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, respectfully, I wouldn't admit that question. So let me go to Juabin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to find out from the minister. From her answer, she said that Cabinet approved interministerial technical team. I want to know the ministries which form part of the interministerial technical team on this one.
Very well. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. So the ministries are as follows: Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. And so yes, there's some connection with the blue water guards. And then also the National Development Planning Commission, though it's not a ministry, because of its responsibility of overall planning for Ghana, we included them. And then the important 24-hour secretariat, yes, because blue economy goes beyond just oceans to cover waters, water body, is about aquatic bodies. And in Ghana, one of our largest, most important water bodies is the Volta Lake. And if 24-hour economy is doing the Volta Economic Corridor, then it just makes sense that you include them in the blue economy development. And the way forward in blue economy is also aquaculture. Way forward, the aquaculture is on that sector of the country, on the Volta Lake, the and all of its tributaries. So yes, we included the 24-hour secretariat in this exercise for a holistic, forward-thinking national strategy. Thank you.
Yes, leader. I've given him the opportunity.
Mr. Speaker, the minister may be reminded that not long ago, our respected colleague from Ofuasia Yebi had drawn the attention of government to its inability to announce policy in this chamber, yet ministers talk about it. In the dispatch box, you are talking about a 24-hour economy, a policy document that's not before us, and you are suggesting to us that this your blue economy is part of the ecosystem of this your so-called 24-hour economy. May I know from you, Honorable Minister? May I know from you, Honorable Minister, whether this your blue economy program you are talking about found space in your manifesto? Because, for instance, when Akufo-Addo implemented free SHS had already been stated in the MPP manifesto for the 2016 election.
Yes, Anomabo.
Mr. Speaker, the reason why I, the Minister of
Minister, address.
Mr. Speaker, the only reason why I, the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, tends to be the one foremost.
Honorable members, I am repeating to you that the noise is too much. Let's listen to the minister. Yes, Minister.
The reason why, Mr. Speaker, that I, the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, tend to be the one speaking the most about the blue economy is because in the NDC's 2024 election manifesto, mention was made of establishing the Blue Economy Commission under the fisheries sector. It was actually when we started the work that we realized that fisheries, blue economy cannot be under one particular sector. Hence, the interministerial cabinet approval, request and approval for the interministerial committee and the intersectoral technical team to come together to work. Mr. Speaker, 24-hour economy is not a subset of the blue economy. It's the other way around. And Mr. Speaker, I am unaware that, so far as I'm concerned, there's been a lot of work that has been done on the 24-hour economy. It has been launched. Okay, then maybe to this house is alien. Okay, fine. But, so whatever. Sorry. Mr. Speaker, apologies for speaking using unparliamentary language. So far as I am aware, as a minister of this republic, the 24-hour economy is an integral part of our development agenda. And for what they stand to do, it was important that they were reflected in the blue economy strategy development. We are not interested in piecemeal approaches. We are thinking through, forward-looking, so that we can develop this country to another level altogether in the short time that Ghanaians have given us. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister acknowledges the fact that the period given them to govern is short. Yet, according to here, they are now doing some further consultation. So as we speak, that blue economy policy, which according to her was part of the NDC manifesto and part of the 24-hour economy ecosystem policy, has not been implemented. May I know from her whether or not we should expect something on this blue economy in the 2026 budget?
Yes, Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In the first place, I'm not the finance minister. In the second place, I have just announced here that there's a process underway and we are hopeful that, in fact, the question was asked here and I said that we are hopeful that by the first quarter of next year, the strategy may be ready. When the strategy is ready, it comes with an implementation plan. That a cost will be given to the implementation plan. And in fact, as I speak to you right now, I have a Norwegian mission in country that are seeking scoping for a continuation of a partnership we had with them that is ending. And the partnership is called Oceans for Development Corporation. And they're already eager to support Ghana's Blue Economy National Strategy implementation. So we will start from there, and then we will put cost to it for government to find the rest of the money. When that happens, I cannot stand here and say so. And Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure of the interpretation that the minority leader gives to my statement that we have a short time to govern. When we went to the polls in 2024, Ghanaians gave us 4 years to come and deal with the problems.
Thank
of
you.
this economy.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
Honorable members, the minister is careful in choosing his words. Please don't put words in the minister. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader is anxious to re-examine the minister. He should be patient. Minister, you are using the dispatch board to do politics. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. You want to use, because you saw your majority leader, you now have the energy to do politics. That's what you want to do. Mr. Speaker, the minister talks about a pact we have with respect to the Norwegian mission and some work we've been doing as part of this whole ecosystem. She may be aware that the Norwegian government, the Norwegian parliament, has actually ratified the double taxation agreement. Right. It's all part of this. And we have not. As part of the strategies, in full implementation, can she assure this House that she will take steps in ensuring that that agreement is ratified by this parliament so that our people can also benefit in terms of this policy that is being rolled out? Can you assure us?
Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this double taxation arrangement does not fall under my ministry. It falls under Ministry of Finance. I cannot stand here in the dispatch box and commit the Minister of Finance.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, she knows that. She knows. Very well, very well. Mr. Speaker, I won't belabor. It's not everything that we have to fight. She knows that at the heart of that agreement is her sector variables. You know, well, mainly your sector, and you know that. But anyway, we don't have to belabor. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, my colleague, the Minority Chief Whip, wants to have his bite. But may I know from the Minister whether at all the Ministry is guided by the essence of time in the matter of this blue economy?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are guided by the urgency of time.
Very well. Yes. Honorable members, let's get this. Even though it's question time, so that's why I always look at the back. Once the leader speaks, it becomes a bit difficult for me to call somebody else. So let me, leader, let me indulge Honorable Dompre.
Speaker.
It's only 27 minutes.
Speaker, may I have the attention of the Minister, my friend? Yeah, let me begin by quoting a very important portion of her answers. Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana's blue economy relies on the interconnectedness of water bodies, oceans and rivers, climate resilience and human well-being, supporting sectors such as fisheries, maritime transport, tourism, oil and gas, renewable energy, on and on. Speaker, the Minister has elucidated on critical variables in the concept of blue economy development. Now, I wish to know from my good friend, if it is not a mere concept which is still hanging in the balance, can the Minister tell us all the variables I spoke to? Climate resilience, oil and gas, interconnectedness of water bodies, oceans and rivers, in the face of all the water pollution we are having in our country. Can she itemize the achievement in these areas? Yes.
Minister, are you minded to respond to that question? Very well.
Mr. Speaker, he says that I should itemize achievements that have been made in the different variables that interconnect. Mr. Speaker, that is almost a full question on its own.
That's exactly.
I may ask the House to allow me the next question time that I get the opportunity or he should file a question. Okay.
Thank you. Honorable Minority Whip, I indulge you, but it's obviously a heavy duty for her. That's not why he was brought here. So you can file a question to her if you are mindful.
Speaker, I will never challenge you.
Very well.
I will never challenge you. But we will have this conversation some other day.
Very well. So we turn to question 354. I beg of you. Question 354. And the question stands in the name of a member for Achumangwa Biaja South, Honorable Shari Chain. Honorable, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture when the Anomabo Fisheries College will be fully operationalized and what academic programs will be introduced for the first cohort in the 2025-2026 academic year.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to the President's directive on the completion and operationalization of the Fisheries College, measures are actively underway to complete and operationalize the Anomabo Fisheries College, a project first initiated in 2013 under the tenure of His Excellency President John Mahama. In this regard, the Ministry has awarded contracts required for the completion of outstanding works and for the procurement of necessary office equipment, furniture, and laboratory apparatus. Additionally, a technical committee has been established by the Ministry to develop the administrative and governance framework for the college, as well as to recommend appropriate academic courses and programs, and the kind of college it will be, and the kind of academic year that the college will apply. The committee is expected to submit its report in due course. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Chair, any further questions?
Yes, please. Minister, you mentioned that contracts have been awarded for the completion of the outstanding works. Could you indicate when these contracts are expected to be completed and the college operationalized?
Yes, you didn't hear. Can you please repeat the question? The Minister didn't hear.
Minister, I'm just asking if you could give more clarity on when you've awarded contracts for outstanding works to be completed. Could you let us know when this you are looking for the completion and for when it would be fully operationalized?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much for the question. Our intention was to have the completion by end of this year and then operationalize as well. But from every intent and purposes, it looks like it's likely to be the first quarter of 2026 when the remaining works will be completed and the place will be operationalized fully. Thank you very much.
Very well.
Minister, could you also indicate the total cost of the remaining works? And I know there was an allocation of over 81 million in the 2025 budget. How much of this has been earmarked specifically for the completion and staffing and operationalization of the college?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. All of that has gone into, or is going to go into the completion. Staffing was not part of the budget that was allocated. It's now that the committee that is working on curriculum development and academic and governance structure is also going to recommend to us the staffing requirements. So that's when we will have a conversation on that. Thank you very much.
I'll give you the last chance.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. Minister, in your response, you stated that there has been a setup of a committee for the governance and academic framework. Could you also update the House on the progress made so far with this committee, especially with regards to when the first cohorts would be admitted? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. The committee was given a 2-month work period, and the 2-month elapses end of next month. So that is when they will bring their report. As to when the first cohort will start, I cannot speak to that now because we do not have the staffing and all of those things that need to be in place for teaching and learning. So I cannot speak to that yet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Member for Infantiman.
Infantiman, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I need to find out from the Minister.
I think Anomabo is in your constituency.
Thank you, yes, it's my constituency. The Minister.
And the question came from somebody else.
Yes. As a collaboration to support to make sure that it's done.
Let
me commend the Minister for the great work done so far. The Minister is not only fulfilling campaign promise, but bringing the blessings of people who are ready to go to school in that field. I want to find out from the Minister whether the scope of the construction of the university covers the Nsanfu Road that connects to the school. Thank you.
Yes. Did you get a question?
Whether the project connects to a particular road in Nsanfu Road, I can't speak to that. I know that what the contract that has been given, the road construction, is the roads within the campus and from the main junction to the campus and to the principal's accommodation. But I'm not sure it connects to any road outside of the project site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, let's turn to question 355. 355. Honorable Elvis Oseme Sadapa, Afano Southwest. Yes.
It's a follow-up. Okay, follow-up.
No supplementary question.
Yes, Honorable Member for Swaman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I come under 88.3. I have the authority by the honorable member to ask the question on his behalf. Speaker, may I seek your leave?
Well, leave granted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture the measures the ministry has taken to ensure the timely completion of outstanding components of the Anomabo Fisheries College infrastructure. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is it not the same question?
No.
Okay, you just tell the House.
Mr. Speaker, the question is just what I had finished answering. I don't know if I should still answer, but the response I put here is the ministry has awarded contracts to finalize the remaining infrastructure at the college. The objective is to have
Honorable
the
Minister,
construction.
if that is exactly the answer, then let's move on. So return to question 358. Question 358. Honorable Gloria Owusu Trouble.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture the steps the ministry has taken to intensify biosecurity protocol in aquaculture, including fish diseases genetics training, equality assurance, and improved fish genetics. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker. The Fisheries Commission, in collaboration with the Veterinary Services Directorate, strengthened fish health management through enhanced biosecurity, disease surveillance, diagnostics, and control measures. A total of 612 stakeholders, including farmers, input dealers, and technical officers, have been trained nationwide to improve disease prevention, early detection, and response, thereby enhancing the resilience and productivity of the aquaculture sector. In addition, to strengthen diagnostic capacity, 3 regional laboratories in Kumasi, Ho, and Koforidua have been equipped with modern instruments through support from the government of Norway under the Fish for Development Program. A new aquatic animal histopathology laboratory has also been established, while the West African Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens at the University of Ghana has been upgraded to support molecular diagnostics for timely disease detection and control. These interventions reflect the continued resolve to strengthen disease prevention systems, protect livelihoods, and enhance productivity in the aquaculture sector. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Gloria, any further questions?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, can you explain how the 612 people trained has been helped to use what they have learned in their daily works?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. So through this training, they are able to identify any signs of fish health or fish disease, and they reach out to the Fisheries Commission staff, who immediately also reach out to the veterinary colleagues, and what has to be done is done. It is through the training that led us to identify some fish health diseases in the Elembele district. And it is through this training that action has been taken and specimen has been taken and sent abroad for investigations to understand exactly what is happening with the fish in that particular water body. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gloria.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Minister, how will the ministry continue the Fish for Development program after the support from Norway end?
Did you get the question? Very well.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I just alluded to it. The Fish for Development program ends December 2025. As I speak to you now, there's a Norwegian mission in country that are scoping to expand it to a new cooperation program called Oceans for Development. All the gains that, in fact, they did an assessment, and all the gains that we have made, we are moving into the new program and we are enriching it. So, and fish health is featuring very, very significantly in the new phase that we are going to start from 2026 to 2030. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Minister, can you share some early success story from the new diseases control measures so far?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Honorable Right Speaker, I would like to come back on that at a much later date. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's turn to question 359. And the question is brought to the House by Honorable Gloria Owusu Trouble. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I rise to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture the support packaging being offered under the Aquaculture project to women and youth groups, and how equitable access to these inputs will be assured across the districts.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Right, Honorable Speaker. The government aims to develop the aquaculture industry into a sector that increases domestic fish production, decreases dependence on imports, and provides employment opportunities, particularly for youth and women. However, the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture did not provide support to targeted groups in 2025 due to budget constraints. Hopefully, provision would be made in the 2026 budget, and the ministry intends to prioritize equity as it places particular emphasis on youth, women, and relevant institutions in the implementation across the districts of Ghana. Thank you.
Yes. Gloria, any further questions?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, how will the ministry ensure regional balance to that support reach all the parts of the country fairly?
He's talking about regional balance.
We will try as much as possible to ensure equity. As I said in my response, in the process of ensuring equity, we will try and do regional balance. But it is important to note that there are conditions that support aquaculture growth. And so some of the communities or some of the regions that have more of those conditions may be served first and better. But as I said, we will ensure a balanced approach, equity, and regional balance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable, you take the last question. Question 360. Question, Gloria, is enough. Question 360. Honorable Rudolph Amwaku Jampa, Upper Denchera West. Upper Denchera West.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, the Minister, the status of the 157 Premix fuel automation outlets under construction
as of the end of 2024 and the steps the ministry is taking to ensure the completion of the remaining 143 outlets in 2025. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker, the automated Premix fuel dispensing project aims to improve transparency, efficiency, and accountability in the distribution of Premix fuel to artisanal fishers. By installing automated dispensing stations with real-time monitoring systems, the project replaces the outdated manual system, which was vulnerable to diversion and abuse. The ministry was tasked with completing the automated Premix fuel dispensing project for 300 landing beaches across the country. By October 2025, civil works were finished at 106 sites with tanks and generators installed. 46 of these are fully operational, while 60 await calibration and testing. Civil works for the remaining 51 out of the 157 sites are at various stages of completion. The ministry is committed to completing and operationalizing all 300 sites in the year 2026. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Rudolph, any further questions?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to find out from the Honorable Minister a specific funding source that has been earmarked for the completion of the remaining outlets. And if the Minister can also tell this House if those funds have been allocated to the contractors. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
The funds for this project is coming from Government of Ghana. I inherited this project. We have revised the contract. There is outstanding debt to the contractor. The Ministry of Finance has validated the outstanding debts and is making attempts at paying. So far as I am aware, the rest, yes, attempts, because there's no money. The remaining will also be funded from Government of Ghana resources. Thank you.
Yes. Rudolph,
yeah.
Are you done with the question?
Mr. Speaker, last one.
Okay, let's hear you.
Can the minister tell this House if they are going to maintain the same contractor and then the timelines with the attempts?
Minister, are you going to maintain the same contractor?
Mr. Speaker, I thought it was inherent in my answer that the contract has been revised. It's with the same contractor.
Thank you very much. Honorable Jerry, I saw you.
Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Honorable Minister, you claim the contract has been revised from what to what? And here I'm looking at the finances. Yes.
Very well. Yes, Honorable Minister.
The total contract price has been reduced by 30%. 1. 2. We have been able to secure 5-year maintenance into the contract. 3. We have been able to secure creation of an e-payment platform for payment of premix fuel at the pump at no cost to Government of Ghana. And there's a fourth thing that we have achieved under this new renegotiated contract. But in terms of finances, Honorable Jerry, Right Honorable Speaker, we have reduced the contract price we inherited by 30%. Thank you.
Very well. Yeah, I'll give you last slot.
Mr. Speaker. Honourable Minister, what went into the reduction of the 30%, if you can?
Yes.
It was a renegotiation. The contract price was too high, so we entered into a renegotiation, and the contractor agreed to reduce it by, we started from we journeyed 10%, 50%, and eventually arrived at 30%, and it was agreed. And a Ministry of Finance intervened, played a role in the whole process, and we managed to get the 30% renegotiated cost. And the new contract is being drawn. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not asking a question. I'm just making a prayer that if the Honourable Minister could be requested to furnish the House with the original contract and the revised contract.
Bring the Minister through a question. You can bring the Minister here through a question to come and furnish the House on that. So, honourable members, on behalf of the House, let me thank the Minister exceedingly for appearing before the House to answer questions from her own colleagues, and I think he has done very well in her responses. Honourable Minister, we thank you, and you are hereby discharged. Honourable members, it's time for statements. And now, when you look at the standing order paper, the statement to be read has been advertised. So when you look at page 3, item 8, the statement to be read has been advertised. It doesn't mean that the Speaker cannot also admit question that he deemed expedient. So now we have two statements to be read, and I have also admitted one to be read today. So we have 3 statements. I hope I'm clear with it. When you look at this order paper, the statement to be read is now advertised. So I'll call Honourable Comfordoyo, a member for Ada, to read her statement by the introduction of the HPV vaccine in Ghana. Honourable, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Right Honourable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to make this statement on cervical cancer and HPV vaccination in Ghana. As Women Caucus in the Parliament of Ghana, we stand together in full support of the national introduction of the human papillomavirus vaccine into Ghana. Let me start again. As Women Caucus in the Parliament of Ghana, we stand together in full support of the national introduction of the human papillomavirus vaccine into Ghana routine immunization program. This milestone marks a bold step towards the protection of girls and women from cervical cancer, one of the leading causes of cancer-related death among Ghanaian women. Mr. Speaker, we commend the government of Ghana, the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and all partners for the leadership shown
in making this life-saving vaccine accessible to our dear daughters, aged 9 to 14, free of charge. The HPV vaccine is not only a health intervention, it is a gender-responsive intervention, giving girls the protection they need to live long, healthy lives and contribute fully to society. Mr. Speaker, it is sad to note that every year we lose over 2,000 women in cervical cancer, not because we lack medicine, but because we lack awareness, vaccine access, and early screening for prompt action. When a woman is diagnosed with cervical cancer, the impact goes far beyond her body. It affects her children, her household, her livelihood, and the entire community. She may be the caregiver, the breadwinner, and her illness creates a ripple effect that touches everyone around her. The physical toll is often devastating, painful treatment. Long hospital stays and, in many cases, late-stage diagnosis. The emotional burden includes fear, stigma, and helplessness. But the economic cost is even heavier. Many families sell properties, fall into debt, and lose incomes simply to keep their mothers, sisters, or wives alive. To my dear women and families who have faced or are facing the pain of cervical cancer, we stand with you and hold your hands in strength, in compassion. To those who have lost loved ones, please know that their memories live on in our commitment to ensure others do not walk the same path. To my brave women who are still fighting, your courage inspires us every single day. You are not alone. Cervical cancer is a devastating disease, but it is also preventable. Together, we can protect the next generation of women and girls. We can end the silence, break the stigma, and raise our voices for better access to prevention, care, and hope. No woman should suffer when we can protect her from the danger. No girl should die from something we have the power to stop. As mothers, wives, sisters, and leaders, we understand the fear and myth that sometimes surround the introduction of new vaccine. Let us be clear that the PHV vaccine is safe and effective. The PHV vaccine is not entirely new in Ghana. It has long been available at a cost in private health facilities for those who can afford it. Thanks to the government of Ghana, the vaccine is now being provided free of charge to girls aged 9 to 14 years through Ghana National Immunization Program from September this year. We encourage all parents, caregivers, and schools to take full advantage of this opportunity. We call on parents and caregivers to ensure their daughters receive the vaccine. Teachers and school health support health teams during school vaccine session. Religious and traditional leaders use their influence to dispel misinformation and promote health-seeking behavior. Media practitioners promote and share accurate information and give voice to survivors and health experts. My fellow honorable members, especially the men, to advocate in our constituencies for high uptake of the HPV vaccine and champion sustained investment in women's health and prevention of cervical cancer. Let us unite around this cause. Let us not wait until we bury another sister, mother, and friend. Let us make cervical cancer a disease of the past by ensuring every girl aged 9 to 14 years are vaccinated this September. Cervical cancer is preventable. The time to act is now. Protect our girls. Vaccinate and save lives. I thank you once again, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I will admit two comments from each side. Two comments from each side. So I'll start from Honorable Professor Yensu. Honorable, you wouldn't comment more than 3 minutes.
No problem. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our great leader, Honorable Doyo, for this wonderful statement. Mr. Speaker, human papillomavirus, also known as HPV, is a sexually transmitted disease. It is usually spread by blood and bodily fluids. It is spread from having multiple partners and also can spread from mother to child. HPV is a virus that causes cervical cancer, but it can also cause other kinds of cancers like genital warts and also anal cancers. HPV infection is very insidious, only because most people who have HPV do not know they have HPV. And so it is transmitted, and most of them don't know they have it, and those who have been transmitted to don't know they have acquired HPV until it becomes a problem. That is until you realize that you have cancer. And you know that the cervix where it's located is also not a very favorable place to find cancer. So oftentimes by the time they present for medical care, it is end stage, too late, and they're about to die. So this year, we have had about 3,000 cases, or last year was about 3,000 cases, and over 2,500 of them have died. Only because, so the mortality rate is very high for cervical cancer, only because we find it too late, and by the time we see them, there's not much we can do. So this vaccine, Mr. Speaker, is one of the, for me, one of the best things I'm so excited about being in the health ministry. The vaccine is free. HPV vaccine has been around in this country for a long time, but it's very expensive. It's about 3,000 to 5,000 a dose. And back in the day, they used to have 3 doses. So people who can afford it have been buying it for their children for years now, while the poor didn't have access to the vaccine. Now the vaccine is available. It is free for every child in Ghana 9 to 14 years old. The reason why the age gap is 9 to 14 is that based on the assumption that between 9 and 14, the girls are not sexually active. So that by the time they get sexually active around 14, they are already immunized. So that even when they're exposed to the virus, they will not get cervical cancer. It is not just preventative, but it's also curative. So we are just advising mothers and women with children to encourage that they vaccinate their children. This is one of the only ways we can prevent cervical cancer. Once the person gets cervical cancer, there's no turning back, and there's not much we can do to prevent, to treat cervical cancer. So this is an appeal to all women or all mothers in Ghana who have children between the age of 9 and 14. The vaccine is free to every child within that age. Please, please, please vaccinate your child. My daughter, who's 21 years old now, was vaccinated when she was 14. So I am confident that she will not ever have cervical cancer. I want the same for every woman in this country. So please vaccinate your children, prevent cervical cancer, and save lives. Lastly, I would like to thank Honorable Nadoyo again for making this wonderful statement. We are appreciative. All the women want to say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, let me go to Offensunov.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And let me appreciate the maker of the statement regarding the HPV vaccine to prevent cervical cancer. As earlier stated, you want one to be vaccinated to build up the immune system to prevent any kind of exposure. And it's known that it best works if you are done with the doses by the age 13. That is why we are recommending that you start by the age 9. This also to warn men that tend to predate on young girls who have not been given said vaccine and tend to force them to sleep with them. Mr. Speaker, HPV is a silent killer, and many a times most women don't know their status. In fact, not all women have gone to their doctors to be able to get access for it, even within your 40s. So we want to encourage, now that the vaccine is free, we want to encourage that all Ghanaian women, as much as possible, should get tested for the HPV exposure. And if possible, the Ministry of Health should be working with the Ministry of Education so that our young ones that are getting to the lower primary, upper primary, junior secondary school are all lined up, because now we are being told that it's free. So if it's free, then there should be a program to make sure that as much as possible, all young Ghanaian women within the ages of 9 and 14 are given this vaccine with the permission of their parent, because it's a vaccine. And as far as it's a vaccine, definitely there might be some few risks. So it is very important that parents in Ghana consent to this vaccination for their young girls so that we can prevent any kind of cervical cancer. Even though there is not an established study to link HPV to breast cancer, there are still more studies ongoing, and you want to prevent any kind of cancer or sort. So please, now that it's free, our encouragement is to do that. And for me, I will make sure I engage the people of Offenso North from Nkwankwa to Afrancho and the Education Directorate to make sure that we get our young ones vaccinated just to prevent this kind of infection in the near future. Thank you.
Yes, let me call the chairman of the Health Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. And I also want to acknowledge the maker of the statement. In my private practice, I met a lot of such cases. And when I started practicing, we used not to give this vaccine that we are giving today. It appears the people usually come a bit late with the genital warts. And I must say that the reason why cases of the cancer, the cervical cancer, was high is that most of them they had some form of stigma with their genital warts. When they come to the hospital and they have it, until it gets very severe, it is itching. Sometimes it grows on the vulva and even try to cover part of the vaginal orifice. And when they start getting complications like not being able to have sex, or when they are not able to hide it from their partners, that is when probably they will talk to the doctor about it. And they usually, when I ask them, why is it that you are not coming to the hospital, they will say that they are even hiding those warts from their partners. And that is why they report very late on these issues to the medical doctors or to the health professionals. And in view of that, you see that some of them will request for surgical removal of the warts. Get them out, doctor. And when you tell them that, look, that is not the final solution, they still might go to another doctor and they will do that type of thing for them and give them some form of conservative treatment. But they will come with the complications. They will come later on with cervical bleeding, with changes on the cervix, the precancerous lesions. They will come back with all these things. And that is where you realize that, no, this patient is presenting very, very late. And so I'm happy that this time we have the vaccine. It is said that you catch them young. Between the ages of 9 and 14, it is very, very early. We only need to explain to the parents that it is not harmful to the girl child, and I believe most parents will take them for the vaccine. So I call on our mothers and fathers to listen to the government. It is a good program, and they should send their girl child between the ages of 9 and 14 for the vaccine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me come to leadership. Leadership. But you presented a statement.
Mr. Speaker, I have just a simple contribution to make on this matter. Fortunately, the Deputy Minister of Health is here. Mr. Speaker, if HPV vaccines are being made free, I don't think the statistics of the infection is anywhere close to hepatitis B, which is taking more than 10% of the population, according to Ghana Health Services data. more than 3 million of Ghanaians are infected by hepatitis B virus. It attacks the liver and eventually leads to liver cancer. Mr. Speaker, it is good that these vaccines are being administered to address this cervical cancer situation. But Mr. Speaker, let us use the same haste to introduce free vaccination and treatment for Hep B. Mr. Speaker, without more, I would want to rest my case.
Thank you very much. Honorable members. Yes, leader, you want to say something? Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I would also say thank you to the maker of the statement. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that prevention is always better than cure. If the HPV vaccine is going to save lives and obviously save money in the long run, because we know living and treating cancer can be a very expensive thing to do. So if obviously we have this vaccine that if taken at the right age can actually prevent the progression of the cervical cancer, then it is a good thing. I mean, in the past, this vaccine has always been there, as I understand it. But because of the cost, that is why the women were not taking it, because they couldn't afford it. And then it progresses and becomes a more expensive thing. Now that it's free, we need to encourage the right age group, as vaccine is supposed to prevent the cancer from happening and not have it when the cancer has already come out. So it is important that we have the right education, the right awareness to be able to make sure that the ladies at the right age have this vaccine to prevent the cost to themselves in the future and actually a cost to the state. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to thank the maker of the statement again for this important statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we have the second statement that has been advertised, and that statement is in the name of Honorable Akwasi Onyina Echampong, a member of Okwabri East. He is not here, and therefore I will ask the Minority Chief Whip to rather read his statement. So, Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Frank Anodompre, you may read your statement now.
Speaker, I'm grateful for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, there comes a defining moment in the life of every nation when progress can no longer be measured by the grandeur of its skylines or the length of its highways, but by the harmony it achieves between humanity and nature. Speaker, Ghana stands today at the crossroads. Our cities, one symbol of vitality and promise, are straining under the weight of their own success. The streets of Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Tamale throb with energy and ambition. Yet, beneath this vitality lies a deepening crisis of congestion, pollution, urban neglect. Speaker, across the world, cities have become the beating heart of national economies, magnets of opportunity, innovation, and growth. Ghana is no exception. From Accra to Kumasi, Tamale to Takoradi, our cities are expanding at a pace that outstrips our ability to manage their environment, social, and infrastructural demands. Mr. Speaker, according to the Ghana Statistical Service 2021, Mr. Speaker, according to the Ghana Statistical Service 2021, over 56.7% of Ghanaians now live in urban areas, up from 50.9% in 2010. By 2030, that number is projected to surpass 60%, placing immense pressure on land, water, air, and housing. While cities contribute over 70% of Ghana's GDP, they also generate more than 12,000 tons of solid waste daily, of which only 70% is collected and even less is properly treated. Speaker, the World Bank in 2020 estimates that poor sanitation, pollution, waste mismanagement together cost Ghana nearly 3% of GDP annually. A staggering economic loss that directly undermines public health, productivity, and tourism. Speaker, urban air quality, particularly in Accra, has reached critical levels. The Environmental Protection Authority, EPA, in 2023 attributes about 40% of Ghana's PM2.5 air pollution to road transport emissions. This makes respiratory diseases among the top 5 causes of outpatient visits in the Greater Accra region. As Ghana's urban population swells, unregulated vehicular emissions, congested markets, unmanaged waste, and disappearing green spaces are eroding the livability of our cities. Speaker, this is trajectory continues unchecked. By 2040, Accra could host more than 7 million people living amid worsening traffic congestion, frequent flooding, rising temperatures, and declining air quality. The cost to the national economy and to the well-being of future generations will be incalculable. Speaker, Ghana is not alone in facing these challenges. Many nations have walked similar paths and charted transformative blueprints that now serve as beacons of possibility. Kigali, Rwanda stands as a leading African example. Once plagued by disorganized growth, Kigali implemented a strict urban master plan anchored in sanitation enforcement, efficient waste collection, and green public spaces. Today, Kigali is recognized as one of Africa's cleanest and most orderly capitals, attracting tourism and sustainable investment. Its success lies in political will, community participation, and citywide enforcement. 3 ingredients Ghana can replicate within its metropolitan and municipal assemblies. Mr. Speaker, in Singapore, Asia's urban miracle rests on miraculous planning and integration of green design into urban fabric. Its city in nature strategy under the Green Plan 2030 has increased urban greenery, expanded public transport electrification, and promoted 15-minute neighborhoods where residents can live, work, and relax within walking distance. Ghanaian cities, particularly Accra and Kumasi, can adapt this approach by legislating mandatory green quotas in new developments, incentivizing rooftop gardens, and linking urban planning with public health and climate action. Mr. Speaker, Copenhagen, Denmark offers Europe's most enduring model of sustainable urban mobility by investing in protected recycling lanes and pedestrian-friendly infrastructure. The city has made cycling account for over 35% of all daily trips. Air pollution levels have dropped dramatically, and public satisfaction with urban life remains among the highest in the world. For Ghana, this translates into the urgent need to create non-motorized transport corridors and bus rapid transit systems to reduce congestion, improve health, and cut carbon emission. This we are contextualizing Ghana's path forward. The solution to Ghana's urban crisis are within reach, practical, measurable, and achievable within coordinated policy leadership and public accountability. First and foremost, greening our cities must become a cornerstone of national urban policy. Metropolitan assemblies can increase tree canopy over 10 to 15% within the next decade and reserve at least 12%, some 12% of new development areas for green and open spaces. Pocket parks and river buffer zones can transform flood-prone areas into ecological assets and also serve as public recreation spaces. Mr. Speaker, secondly, Ghana must transition toward clean and inclusive urban transport. This requires modernizing trotro fleets, piloting electric buses on major corridors like Kasua-Accra and Edum-Sofo line, and expanding pedestrian and cycling infrastructure. Cleaner mobility will directly reduce air pollution, improve productivity, and align Ghana's transport sector with its nationally determined contributions, the NDCs, under the Paris Agreement. Speaker, furthermore, we must decongest public spaces such as markets and lorry terminals through structured spatial planning, establishing multi-level market complexes, recognizing trading zones and scheduling delivery hours can ease congestion while protecting livelihoods. Modern terminals at the city peripheries, supported by feeder buses, can further declutter the urban core. So finally, proper waste management is indispensable. Ghana should move from collection-only systems to circular waste economy with recycling cooperatives, material recovery facilities, and composting plants that create green jobs while safeguarding the environment. Achieving some 50% diversion from landfill by 2030 is both feasible and economically smart. Speaker, in conclusion, the future of Ghana's cities will not be determined by chance, but by the courage of our choices. If we build without foresight, we will inherit congestion, pollution, and decay. But if we build with a purpose, guided by ecological wisdom, justice, and innovation, we will create cities that breathe, move, and heal. Let us therefore chart a bold national agenda for green, healthy, and inclusive cities, and that harmonizes economic ambition with environmental stewardship and transforms Ghana's urban spaces into symbols of resilience and pride. Like Kigali, Singapore, and Copenhagen, our success will depend not on the size of our budget, but on the strength of our vision and the discipline of our governance. Ghana stands ready for this transformation. The time to green our cities and secure the well-being of generations to come is now. The destiny of our cities is in the destiny of our nation. The choices we make today will echo far beyond this generation. We can continue to build without conscience, piling concrete upon concrete, or we can build with wisdom, creating cities that reflect the balance between progress and preservation, ambition and accountability. History teaches that cities are not merely physical spaces. They are moral statements about who we are and what we value. Kigali has shown that discipline and civic pride can transform a city once burdened by its past into a beacon of order and cleanliness. Singapore demonstrates that foresight Any integrated planning can turn a small island into one of the world's most livable urban spaces. Copenhagen reminds us that sustainability and modernity coexist, that clean air and economic vitality are not opposites but partners. Speaker, Ghana too can charge this path. If we green our streets, reform our transports, manage our waste wisely, and plan our settlements with human dignity, at their core, let this house and this generation be remembered as those who refuse to accept decay as destiny. Let us be remembered as the sewers who planted trees of foresight, built corridors of equity, and designed cities of hope. For in the final measure, the true greatness of a nation is not found in its monuments of steel, but in the livability of cities and the sustainability of its soul. I thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip, I think your statement is too long. You yourself have advocated that statements that are brought to the House should not go beyond 2 pages. So please, let's adhere to that. At times, if the statements are too long, members have become bored in listening to. I'm not specifically in respect to what Honorable Leader just read, but it's a general statement I'm making. It's something that we've said it here over and over again. So let's make sure we make our statement short and concise. So I'll admit 2 comments from each side, then I'll come to leadership. Yes, I haven't heard a lady speak today. So Saraga
South.
Saraga South.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, let me start by commending my colleague, the Minority Chief Whip, for this very brilliant and very deep statement that he's made today. I would confess that some of the issues he's raised in the statement have agitated my mind for a very long time. I think I never really sat down to put pen to paper, and I want to commend him for that. The statement is timely, and if we listen, the better for all of us. Mr. Speaker, my colleague made reference to Kigali. I heard him make reference to Singapore. I heard him make reference to other civilizations. And Mr. Speaker, as we speak, I'm happy that the Honorable Gisela Tete, Deputy Minister for Works and Housing, is in the chamber today. Recently, I was with her in Addis Ababa, and the trip that took us from our hotel to the AU headquarters, we talked about nothing but town development. We discussed why we couldn't do what they are doing in Addis Ababa. Mr. Speaker, I had been there 5 years before, and this time when I went, I didn't recognize the city. They are building at the city. They are conscious of the road, 3-4 lane roads in Addis with walkways where pedestrians, where the ordinary Ethiopian can also walk. And maybe she can help with the measurements. I don't know the measurements. But I saw the walkways were equal to one road. It's not this corner things that we do in this country. Space. And we saw couples holding hands and walking. And we saw Ethiopians walking in their city. Mr. Speaker, we don't walk in this country because there's nowhere to walk. If you attempt to walk from Afrikiko to 37, in fact, walking in front of the presidency, a car will knock you down. Because there are no pavements, and hawkers, street hawkers have taken the road, and so no one is thinking about the other person. It can't all be about vehicles. Mr. Speaker, we need the space. Mr. Speaker, the other thing we saw, consciously, in the median, I used to call it an island until Honorable Gisela told me it's called a median. They are planting trees. Trees are planted in the median to provide shade and to protect the environment. In Ghana, we put concrete and pavement stones. And the next thing you go there, my cousin has managed to pull his wheelbarrow, and he's selling slippers, he's selling toothpaste, he's selling toothbrushes on the road, in the middle of the road in this country. It only happens in this country, Mr. Speaker. Now they've even upgraded it. They lay out the slippers, different shades, different colors. And every time I drive and I watch that scene, I ask myself, so if I see a slipper that I want, am I going to park in the middle of the road and get down and walk, or I'll not find space outside the road and park off and cross? You know, so there's just something wrong with us and something wrong with our planning. And the earlier we admit it, the better. Mr. Speaker, Dubai, the medians, there are trees growing. Desert country. We are here, fertile. We are so quick to go and pull down a tree. At the least opportunity, we've pulled down a tree. And we are building a house. What are our environmentalists doing? What is the Forestry Commission doing? In the UK, Mr. Speaker, you can't pull down a tree until you have permission from the local council. And you have to pay. They will examine the condition and make sure that indeed the tree needs to come down. And you pay for the felling of the tree. So we need to begin to look at, when we speak, we are told that we have all the laws in this country. Then you ask, so where are the laws? Where did we make the laws for the shelves? Or we made the laws so we can become better? Mr. Speaker, we were in Kigali. And in Kigali we found that the local government ministry is the ministry that runs the country. Every sector has to send their budget through the local government ministry. The local government ministry has to ensure that their programs and activities align with the needs of the local people. They then forward it to finance ministry before the budgets are approved. Mr. Speaker, what's the story in this country? In this country, I don't think the local minister, anyone even takes him into account when we are developing programs and activities in our districts. So, thank you very much, Honorable Anodompre. Let's get talking and let's ask for action. We don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. It is not fiscal science. It is just trying to copy. I like to use that word. Just go and copy what they are doing there.
Thank you.
Do it here. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members, please, it's a very important statement, but let me indulge you to at least limit your comment within 3 minutes, please. Yes. Let me go to Honourable John Darko.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the maker of the statement, Honorable Anodompre, for this very insightful statement. In fact, as the Vice Chair of the Committee on Environment, Science and Technology, I believe I am obliged to at least say one or two about his statement to the floor. Honorable Anodompre, thank you. The statement for me is one of the most impactful statements I have listened on the floor of this House. You identified all the problems our cities face, and not only that, you proffered solutions. And I believe that if this statement is to be admitted and worked on by the various ministries, our problems as a country or the cities will be resolved. You mentioned about air quality, Honorable Anodompre. Indeed, our cities are polluted. From Accra to Kumasi to Tamale to Bolga, our cities are polluted. You mentioned and attributed that to vehicle emissions. There's no question about that, that vehicle emissions is one of the sources of air pollution in our country. And that is why I believe that it is important that government policy on the importation of electric vehicles should be encouraged. The previous government led this charge, imported a lot of electric vehicles to transport our people. It looks to me the attention on that has gone down. So I will urge the current administration to pay attention to the electric vehicle policy. And when I speak about electric vehicle, I must always bring my constituency, because my constituency is the hub of combustion engine vehicle repair and maintenance, and is a source of livelihood for our people. So I'm a constituency, and so whilst we're talking about bringing in electric vehicles to combat air pollution, we must also look at the fact that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs when the combustion engine vehicles are no longer in vogue. And so we have to find a way to help them as well. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member also spoke about waste management. And Mr. Speaker, I think that that's so important that we need to discuss waste management. Our cities are choked, and I know, of course, Accra and Kumasi, and especially if you go to the heart of our city, Kumasi, Adum, and Kejetia, the way waste is treated leaves much to be desired. And so, once the honorable member has mentioned it and has proffered a solution, I want to add that in this country, we have companies that have set up integrated recycling and compost plants.
Thank you.
That we must encourage and also ensure that they are able to fix this problem for us. Mr. Speaker, maybe 1 minute just to address the greening of our cities. I recommend and beg the municipal and metropolitan and district assemblies to ensure that they ensure that when they are giving out building permits, they ensure that the applicants will make sure that they build or they plant greens and trees in their homes. It should be a prerequisite for granting building permit. And I'm sure once that is done, the green problem will also be solved. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Guan.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute to the statement that was ably made by the Minority Chief Whip. Mr. Speaker, the issue of health in our country is a serious one and has been discussed on several platforms. I believe almost all of us here are getting fatigued discussing this particular subject matter. And as the earlier speaker said, nations across the world have managed their communities, planned their communities very well. And all of us travel across the world, we see how they have managed their cities. I am still wondering why it is too difficult for us as a people to just adapt and implement it in our country. Mr. Speaker, waste management, even in the national capital, itself is a problem. You go to the so-called elite communities, East Lagos and the rest, and then you see dustbins in front of people's houses, and for days, nobody is coming to pick the garbage from the house. And it's something you see across every place. And so, Mr. Speaker, I think that we need to refer this particular statement to the appropriate institutions, and so we try to find a lasting solution to the issue of waste management. Now, one will argue that Accra Central and most part of Accra, they are old cities, and so we can't do much about it. The question is, the new settlements that are coming up, Mr. Speaker, what is the town and country planning doing? Because the expectation would have been that before people even move to a new area, I think the road infrastructure would have been developed, water would have been extended to the place, electricity and what have you would have been there. so that the city is well planned. Unfortunately, even the new settlements that are coming up, the same problems that we are facing with the old ones are the same that we are experiencing there too. So then you sit back and ask yourself, who is in charge of the country? Who is in charge of the city planning? Are the people really working? And why are we paying them if they are not doing the right thing? And so, Mr. Speaker, we can cite examples across the world of how nations have developed. If we refuse to implement our bylaws, if we refuse to punish people, and that we wait occasionally to come and make statements like this and we leave it at that, we are not going to see any improvement in this country. Mr. Speaker, tree planting, we've been doing afforestation every now and then, and sometimes we wonder, we are constructing roads. You would expect that just around 37, the way they were able to leave the trees in the middle of the road,
Thank
we
you.
do the same in some other places. And yet we put the trees down at the least thing.
Thank
so, Mr.
you.
Speaker, once again, thank you very much for the opportunity. And let me also thank the maker of the statement. I thank you,
Thank you. Dr. Kabiru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will also want to commend the consistency of the minority chief whip with which he is pursuing this matter of urban planning. Mr. Speaker, in the last meeting of this Parliament, a similar statement was presented by the respected minority chief whip, highlighting the matter in issue and bringing our attention to the need for us to do something about how we plan our cities. Mr. Speaker, I want to associate myself with the various speakers on this matter and with the examples of cities that they have highlighted. He mentioned Kigali, Mr. Speaker, Singapore. But I want to add another city which we should actually add to our reflection and how they have been able to develop. Mr. Speaker, Curitiba. Curitiba is a southern Brazilian. Curitiba, C-U-R-I-T-I-B-A. It's a Brazilian city, southern Brazil. In urban development planning, Mr. Speaker, some years ago, this was a case every student in urban planning would learn, how the urban regeneration was done in Curitiba. Mr. Speaker, at the heart of their development initiative was what they call integrated sustainable planning of the city, where they factor in natural ornament or natural development into the development program. Mr. Speaker, it was anchored on what they call the radial linear branching pattern. Mr. Speaker, what basically they did was that they directed development along transportation corridors. And once development is directed along transportation corridors, you are able to plan your city. They were also able to introduce what they call the Green Initiative, which the respected member for Salaga South, Salaga North, Salaga South also highlighted why we should not be in down trees in our haste to development. Mr. Speaker, they also introduced what they call, we call the bus rapid transit system, the BRT system. Mr. Speaker, we are dealing with metro mass transit, we are dealing with Ayolole bus transit, we are now introducing electric bus, but we've not been able to consistently manage this transportation system. Recently, we attempted creating a dedicated lanes for the rapid bus system. Mr. Speaker, if you take the Accra and Sawam route, those lanes were created, but they have become eyesores now. They have virtually been encroached, and public buses that are not supposed to be using these lanes are now using those lanes. Is it the case that even once we make attempts to develop our cities along the lines of the developed countries, along the lines of the case cities we have highlighted, why are we not able to sustain them, Mr. Speaker? Is it the culture that we are not just used to that system? And I think that we must begin to reorient ourselves towards how we make this thing to be part of our conscience. So, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I will want to also note that in this particular initiative, if we